Hello, we are Crimson Knight Studios, who worked on the game Abigor. And this little video presentation is us going to be going over the journey that our game went through over the 8 months that we worked on it. Hi, I'm Tyler Hilderman. I'm the creative director.
Hello, my name is Alejandro Reveloyon. I am the vision holder art lead for this project. I also worked on cinematography, some animations, and some music for this game.
Hello, my name is Christian Espinoza, and I was the producer and a general programmer.
Hi, my name is Damaris Guzman, and I was a 3D artist.
Hi, I'm Eric Lovejoy, and I was the architectural modeler project.
Hey, I'm Jordan Little, and I was a 3D artist.
Hello, my name's Kyle. Kyle London. I did source control, tech art, lighting, as well as the main level designer for the crypt, assisting like the forest and the hell, and then a little bit of coding, and then also the optimization manager.
Hello, my name is Matthew Falconet, and I was the level designer for the forest.
Hello, I'm Nafis Taylor. I was the lead designer. I was also the visual effects designer and sound designer for Abigor, and level designer as well.
Hello, I'm Natalie Dilbeck. I am a 2D artist and concept artist for Abigor.
Hello, I'm Rico Thomas, and I was the lead programmer and AI programmer for Abigor.
Hello, my name is Timothy Tapia. I was a 3D artist and a narrative designer for Abigor.
Alright, to get this video started, this was the cover for the pitch of Abigor. Me, as vision holder, along with Christian Espinosa, created this pitch. To summarize Abigor quickly, in this game, you're a demon hunter named Ulrich, trying to graduate in the last 3 days of his demon hunting academy, before a very strong demon named Abigor wants to stop demon hunting forever and destroy the academy. Now let's start with the first gameplay prototype.
And let's get right into it. Does anyone want to talk about some of the stuff they remember working on from that very first build?
That AI was atrocious.
That is an ancient video.
I mean, AI and UI.
We've come a long way from that.
Oh my god.
Very old animations.
I know just making that building was funny because I wasn't quite sure on what direction we wanted to do for just like the gameplay. And they're like, oh, we're just going to do a hallway. And I'm like, huh, okay. Was that? It was supposed to be the initial.
Which?
Yeah, it's supposed to be the first floor of the castle. I'm like, dang, like this might take some time. I'm wondering like how we're going to do it.
Yeah, that was the time that none of our programming team had ever used Unreal before.
Yeah, we had to go into uncharted territories, but we succeeded.
Remember that? That was funny. That was fun. That was fun. It was funny though. It was how bare. It looks so bare. We definitely have come a long way though. That's funny.
Rico, do you remember making the AI for the Grunt all the way in the beginning?
I do, and I still, at that point in time, I thought it was pretty good. My first AI in Unreal, so I was like psyched about it.
Yeah, he had some grand plans for the AI.
Yeah. Oh man.
I know I remember when we first when the art team first showed Alric and then showed the Grunt, and I was like, wow, this looks really damn good. Like especially the Grunt. Previously only working in Unity, I had never seen anything quite like
same.
Like students, I hadn't seen anything like that. And when the opportunity came where it's like Unreal, I'm like, damn, why did we never learn about Unreal previously? This is the way to go. And then finally getting to work, and I was like, yes, I found my home. This is where I need to be.
When I pitched this project, I wanted to make sure that we used the right engine for it. I had some experience with Unity, and while I had a great time programming in 2D, not so much in 3D. Setting up animation trees in 3D was a pain, and pretty much decided that if this game was going to rely a lot of animations, I wanted to use Unreal Engine. Because setting up animations in Unreal Engine, I found out through setting up my own characters that it was really easy. So that was a huge help.
But yeah, let's move on to the art prototype.
Y'all remember that first room Jordan made with all the dirt everywhere?
Oh yeah, I remember that.
It's a messy ass room.
I think one of the craziest parts about that art prototype was that we put so much effort into making stuff for the castle, and then one sprint later, we'd quickly realize that we would have to put so much effort into our combat areas that we would eventually just completely drop the castle as like a
Yeah.
concept. And those props wouldn't come back until the Sprint 8 builds, the alpha. They wouldn't come back until we went in to make those final classroom scenes and such like that. Yeah, and even though we didn't use some of this stuff for a while, at least it was very good practice for most people to sort of get back into it, get used to making assets using Unreal, making sure the UVs and textures were working and all that.
This is when me and Nafis had to go and make all the materials for everybody.
Oh my gosh, that was a
We had to
time.
plug everything
That
in.
was a time. That was a time. If I knew what I knew now, thinking about it, I definitely would have. We would have. It would have been much easier to set up like a fully master material for everything to just be based off of that one, and we could do like instances all over.
For the logo, basically all I did was sit there and go, we're defending the fantasy world from demons, so what do you use to defend a shield? So, like, then I just slapped all of the other faction logos inside of it, so it looked more like everyone was a part of it, and to give it more of a prestige look than just like a shield with some stuff, I did it ornate angel wings.
For that part, we were thinking about doing the first level of the castle. The school was going to be really centered around this castle that you could explore and do quests, but we had to focus on our main combat levels. So a lot of the ideas that we have for the castle had to be streamlined and put for later after we finish our combat levels.
Let's check out this video. This was our first combat level.
God, that landscape was laughably bad.
Wow. I was saying that the whole time.
Yeah, I know. I was using that to like identify how the path was gonna be.
Yeah, that was a time. I just know I remember seeing or that was kind of like the first visual effects I had done in Unreal. I was like, yo, I just made like the craziest thing ever. And then
Yeah, the
as I
Darksiders looked really
learned
good.
more, I was like, wow, I could go even crazier. And I just remember that was like the first. I was like, yeah, I did it.
Where we were talking with the professor, and he was like, "Yeah, you guys need something interesting." And then I brought up the idea of like the different stances.
Yeah, I was after. That was definitely after.
I'm glad we went through with it though.
I remember doing the landscape material, and that took me so long to get together because I was like, "Yo, there's so many methods you could take to get that done."
Our newest landscape that really got implemented pretty much at the end kind of
Mhm.
remedied it all because we've learned, 16 shaders is like it's literally like an engine wide thing. Like all engines
Yeah.
have a limit on it.
Mhm.
And then also like just the method that we were setting it up, we were using too many materials for our landscape. You
Yeah,
want to keep
way
that as
too
minimal
many.
as possible.
At this point, we also introduced the bird lady enemy that shoots a projectile of feathers.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
with no VFX.
Yeah. I remember she used to when we were gameplay testing, she used to kick me with because I could never see the feather until the last minute. And then we were like, yeah, we need to put visuals on that.
Yeah, I mean, both the Grunt and the Bird Lady were like my first two like sculpted models, so it was definitely a process learning that and getting that in.
Wow.
This is the vertical slice.
All right, let's get into it. That was a crazy sprint. We put in so much stuff for that one. We put in the main
Definitely.
menu, we put in the checkpoint system, we put in the boss fight, we put in 3 cutscenes.
Switched the whole forest up.
Yeah, the whole
Everything.
forest we put in so many art assets, we put in the fog, we made the landscape different, we used trees and stuff to block the player off. We made it way bigger, added like those medical herbs for all the exploring and all that.
I gotta say, the fog hurt my eyes.
Yeah, that was our original fog.
That was terrible.
Get lost in that forest.
Yeah, if you guys remember, that was like the biggest
Yeah.
problem with the forest. Everyone was just like super lost in there.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I remember just taking the crack at the voice acting, and I hear such a big difference in the quality of of each line. I'm like, oh my gosh, what was I doing? I should have replayed everything back to back and fixed it. Oh man, that was crazy though. That was
That
definitely a
boss
crazy.
fight was very
No,
Oh
uneventful
my
and basic.
gosh.
I
Oh
I
my
would
gosh.
say that Lilith has had the biggest improvement with
Definitely.
the AI. I'm glad I went back and redid her.
Because in that video, it shows that one bug that we took so long to fix,
Oh
the one where
my,
she just aggro's you from
yeah.
far away. It just
She
starts
Yeah.
just
walking
like,
towards you.
yeah.
Just waiting
It
for you.
was everything was just wrong with her. She wouldn't move right. She wouldn't attack as often. She was like, man, Christian, that would have been a perfect boss for you.
Hey.
Uh, she's definitely had a
Mhm.
big improvement. Really
He
big.
tried his best.
The game also, like, looking at the how that video was, the game, it was, like, a lot slower than I remember. Like, just, like, the pacing of the combat, it was much
Yeah.
slower, yeah. Yeah,
Wings
just
were a
like
lot
that
slower.
Lilith fight alone is like it's like looks
No,
like
it
it's playing on
was
like half speed from like
yeah.
the release build.
It was more like Dark Souls, but it was missing like the flavor, the content, and like the good balance to it. And so it didn't feel like anything at that point.
This was also the sprint that we decided to make the player able to switch out of stances instead of needing to wait until the mana fully drained.
Yeah, we
And that
added the
was
life stance too. This was before like we even talked about, you know, how all the stances were gonna like work and stuff like that. We were just kind of putting them in to test them and stuff.
Yeah, we only had our concept of just different stances,
Yeah.
not tied to bosses.
Serpent stance doesn't get started until like what the sprint, like sprint 6 or something is when it like gets
Yeah.
put in game or something.
yeah.
Yeah, a lot later
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can
That overhaul was something.
Talk about the bouncing mushrooms.
Oh my gosh, that was funny.
I think
That
we
was
definitely
before.
had one of the most complete vertical slices as well. Because ours, like
Definitely.
Oh yeah, for
we put a
sure.
lot of effort into having a followable story. You know, like we have
Hell
that
yeah.
intro cutscene, that Lilith cutscene, and then killing Lilith. Like it all flowed pretty well for a vertical slice.
Definitely.
Let's move on to Sprint 5, the first build after coming back from winter break.
Yeah, that was a
yeah.
short sprint.
That was a
Yeah.
very short one.
That one we no, not yet.
No, Eden wasn't there. No, that's why
The
it ended right at that the boss doors.
the
That was
combat
the
is combat is so much faster after that sprint.
Yeah.
for sure. That first setup of the crypt, that actually that white box did not take too long, at least for the start of it. It obviously develops more, but it's definitely missing the side areas as well in the boss area.
The
But
crypt
it
would be
was
a semester-long journey.
indeed, indeed.
I remember it was supposed to be done on like sprint 7.
yeah.
Yeah, there was a lot of problems that cropped up near the end of it.
But Devilman was so underdeveloped, it was so hard to
No,
tell what
yeah.
he was doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was
The AI was an improvement, but still a little wonky.
yeah.
The bomb guy just constantly like walking around you.
Yeah, I thought I was doing something else with that. Was that I could just have him walk around, then throw, but he had other plans, just kept walking around side to side.
We can move on to sprint 6. That was also the
Uh,
first time we show off Eden. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, he did.
My concept for Eden was basically just like, well, we wanted to do something creepy for the crypt, so I was like, what if there's a fallen angel in there that's whose powers basically been being seeped from this entire time to protect the academy.
At first, she was working perfectly fine, and then it grew to be a big headache after the boss room was finished.
On this sprint, we also started building the hell level.
Let us move on to sprint 7.
That Eden
Gosh.
boss fight. That this is the AI that gave me the biggest headache.
Yeah, that was when was it you had the count in but you had the wrong number, or was it the count wasn't in at that
It
point?
the count was in, but it wasn't working, so it was infinitely spawning skeleton.
Yeah.
But then even that, Eden, everything that I would do in my level, bring it over to the crypt, nothing would work. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, it took so long for me to like actually get everything to work for Eden, for her to teleport into the boss arena and everything. And I think we also had like skeletal mesh issues where she's like facing the wrong way. And I couldn't
Yeah.
figure it out. And then I realized that she's just flipped backwards. And that's why she's like rotating so weirdly and everything. We had like a ton of animation issues as well.
Yeah, with the
Yeah, it
skeletons
was.
having spaghetti arms.
Oh yeah, that. Oh my god.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Eden would be Eden would get changes every sprint ever
Yeah.
since the implementation.
Definitely the biggest headache for AI.
Another big thing that happened this sprint was we finally took out stamina because we had always sort of envisioned the game with stamina, and it would just over time more and more people would play test it, and it would just become a more common and more common complaint that it was just annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, just it in the end we weren't able to like properly balance it enough, so it just was better to just remove it at the time.
Yeah, I think the game felt a lot more fun without it.
Yeah, it definitely did.
All right, let's say it's time to move on to sprint 8. This sprint was definitely our biggest sprint. We in that 3 weeks between sprint 7 and sprint 8, we finished the gameplay for every level almost. The hell art was completely done. Crypt art was almost done. We put in all the music, all the media cutscenes. We did even more balancing. We took stamina out completely, so it wasn't in the UI anymore. This was like definitely one of our biggest undertakings. We also fixed a bunch of bugs. This is the build where like the demo man was working perfectly. Eden was almost done. That was like a very
Yeah.
completable fight.
Oh
Yeah, I
yeah,
just
there was
remember.
that
Oh,
bug
sorry.
where the demo man would walk into walls.
Oh yeah. No, I just remember when Negrin was just like, "Oh, we have to have conveyance, conveyance, conveyance." I'm like, "Okay, gotta go all in on this now," and just like make the blood, make the sounds, and everything. I was just like, "Ah, this is so tasky." And then I remember it's so funny now thinking about it how the forest is literally our first level, and didn't make the stance for it until the very end. It's so funny to think about, like how like it was like we were working forward but working backwards at the same exact time. It's just funny to think about.
There was definitely a lot of jumping around. I know
Yeah,
that sprint
sure.
I while doing the crypt went back and edited and updated the forest lighting as well, which it
Mm,
gets a lot better once we get to the final build, but
definitely.
this is definitely work in progress, much better.
Yeah, that was a huge sprint for sure.
Alrighty. I think then we will move on to the final sprint video.
I'm glad the mini boss was shown in in that sprint. Yeah.
Yeah, the sprint was a lot of those final touches and things like that, making sure all the props were in, everything was balanced right, all the really final stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're watching this, make sure to check out the game on Steam or itch.io. There's definitely a lot of things in there that weren't shown in the videos that are up to you, the player, to go find it and look at the beauty of it.
I love the way the boss fight turned out. Abigor was really good.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
Abigor is. I feel like I'm biased, but I think Abigor is definitely Rico's best work in the project. Just like all the phases and everything going on, it's wild.
The only thing I had seeing it I had wished was with when the swords appear, it would have been cool if they started facing like upwards, swirling around them, and then they slice down. But of course,
Yeah.
it's just
I
time.
was thinking about having them like turn and
Oh, what
spin,
happened?
but
Oh, I could have set it up. I didn't. Oh, I didn't even
no,
think
it's
about something
okay. We
like
didn't
that.
have time.
Yeah, we didn't
So
I
have
didn't
time.
think about something like that. That'd have been cool.
definitely Abigor, this boss fight. I did not sleep that much because if we didn't have Abigor as the boss fight, I don't think this game would have been called Abigor.
Yeah.
That is
You know,
true.
it's
So
something that we kind of don't mention because we kind of nipped it in the bud like early. If we had jumping, I think the whole aspect of the game would change significantly. Like, I
yeah.
feel like that type of movement would have changed a lot, like especially with certain boss fights and whatnot.
In this sprint, I included the first in-game cutscenes made with the Unreal Engine signature. I also added the final Abigor dead cutscene, which was made outside of Unreal. It was fun to make. We had a lot of fun making this game. I put a lot of effort. My team put even more. So I hope you enjoyed the game. We made it with a lot of love.
All right, so that was us going over all of our sprints. It's been a long journey, but we have come really far, and we made a pretty impressive game. And so, from me and everyone at Crimson Knight Studios, let's say bye.
Bye. Have a good
Enjoy the game. Enjoy the game.
Abigor.
Later.